What happens when an infamous, heavily guarded barbarian trying to escape a deeply toxic, blood-soaked past is suddenly thrust into the center of a corrupt kingdom's political web, forcing him into extreme close proximity with a cynical, crippled inquisitor, a vain noble officer, and a terrifyingly calculating wizard who operates like a corporate-style mafia boss? In The Blade itself, the relentlessly brutal, darkly hilarious, and utterly groundbreaking first installment of Joe Abercrombie's The First Law trilogy, listeners are treated to an absolute masterclass in grimdark fantasy, multi-POV character studies, and razor-sharp political angst. The narrative centers on a fractured cast of deeply flawed anti-heroes, primarily following Logen Ninefingers, a brooding, battle-hardened alpha survivor who has built an impenetrable wall of cold indifference to cope with the sheer amount of death in his wake. Their highly structured, separate worlds hit a massive wall as a looming catastrophic war with the North and an ancient supernatural threat breach the perimeter of the civilized Union. Forced into a high-stakes, forced proximity alliance orchestrated by the first of the Magi, these characters must navigate intense psychological warfare, deadly court intrigues, and a heavy dose of relationship angst. While the spoiled nobleman Jezal Dan Luthar engages in electric, high-friction verbal sparring and forbidden chemistry with a friend's headstrong sister, the narrative truly explodes when cornered. When brutal assassins and lethal enemies target his new makeshift found family, Logan's restraint completely shatters, unleashing an unhinged, terrifyingly lethal touch my pack and die protective frenzy. Manifesting as his berserker alter ego, the Bloody Nine, he uses his raw physical dominance and bone-crushing combat skills to systematically annihilate the threat. The audiobook experience transforms this gritty, action-packed fantasy epic into an absolute spellbinding auditory ride, utilizing a top-tier, universally acclaimed solo narration by Stephen Pacey that perfectly captures the sharp-witted cynicism, the deep, growly internal monologues, and the breathtakingly dominant multi-POV perspectives of the cast, seamlessly blending heavy political intrigue, visceral close-quarters combat, and heavy psychological trauma. Abercrombie delivers a powerhouse narrative of survival and moral gray areas, proving that when a ruthless warrior is pushed to the edge, he will gladly burn down an entire kingdom to ensure he is the last man standing.